1 or 2 scholarships?
Well, I'm just going to make that decision once I talk to him. Haven't done that yet.
I guess there's a thought of striking while the iron's hot.
Well, yeah, we're out there, but there's a time where we're dead too.
Okay.
I mean, so we're not out off campus, and we're not out off campus until after the Final Four, the Friday after the Final Four. So we really can't go anywhere.
Okay.
So there's time before we decide what we want to do.
Will you, I guess, initiate that discussion with Tehran? Have you guys set anything up?
Yeah, not yet. No, I've had other things I wanted to make sure I got done this week, and there's time for that.
What are you chasing after as far as that one scholarship that you have? A guard?
Yeah,
man?
perimeter. Perimeter. I don't know if it's a guard. Guard. It's a perimeter player, somebody who can play and out there where it's a wing. Preferably somebody who can score. We need points, so somebody who can score.
Looking back on Taylor's career now that he's finished playing here, how much has he grown since that maybe the first day you met him to today?
From a sapling into a tree. He was a young guy who came in and is, first of all, you have the mental part of growing up and maturing, of what this is all about, because everybody from high school comes in and thinks that I did this in high school, I'll be able to do this. And then you have the mental part of that, and you have the physical part of it, stronger, tougher, body-wise and thicker, and then you have the understanding of the game. I think there's 3 different parts. There's a mental toughness, physical toughness, and then the understanding of the game. And he's just, he was a sapling and he's blossomed into a tree because he's one of the best players in the Big Ten and one of the best players in the country. And the all-time leading scorer here and done great things. And so I think the numbers speak for themselves. He was just up in the office yesterday. We were just talking about some of these exact things and what his next, where he goes from here and what his next adventure may be. But he's, I remember when the first couple games, he was like, Brian was like 1 for 20 shooting the ball down in Disney World, and we played doo-doo and got beat and come home, and he was just so upset with himself he couldn't make a basket. And I was just like, they'll come, the baskets will come. And I was like, I hope they come. Now he's the all-time leading scorer. So the baskets came. It's just maturity and development. He did a great job.
You know people in the league and the NBA. What do you think his chances are of getting there?
I think his chances are good. Mark, I think it's in the right team, right situation. It's as you talk to colleagues in the business, it's like anything else. It's like recruiting. I like this guy, that guy doesn't like this guy. A lot of guys think that this guy can do well, and they don't think that guy can do well. So I think it's the right team, and I think that goes for a lot of players. It's he's got to have the ball in his hands. He's got to be a kid that has the ball in his hands, but he can make other guys better. And he's a competitive guy. And if he gets that opportunity, he'll make the best of the opportunity.
What has it meant to have him as kind of the face of the program as a player? Because out at Tucson, all the media were around him.
Yeah, I think he's handled that with great dignity and respect of his teammates, of our program. And Brian will tell you, there's another things he doesn't want to do anymore. He just wants to take a step back and let the other guys handle some of this stuff. But I think he's always been a kid that whatever we've asked him to do, he's done. There's some tough nights he had to come in here where we didn't play well as a team, or he didn't want to play well individually, and he just sucked it up and did it. I think on campus he's been a great ambassador for our program. I think he's been a great student athlete. I think he's been a great student here at Penn State, and he's always been a humble kid, but a confident guy, but always had time for other people, and I never had to worry about him, fitting his head through the door. He was always a kid that was pretty well grounded and stayed that way. He was very humble.
Do you remember back when you were recruiting him, did you ever think he could live up to what he maybe has done in the past 4 years?
No, I don't think. Sometimes you recruit guys and you just never know what's going to happen. Did I ever say, "Oh, there's the all-time leading scorer"? No. Did I ever say, there's a all first team, all Big Ten player, a kid who can play in the NBA? You're talking about a kid who was a $150 and 6 foot, and you know, with a bunch of hair up here and running around, and you know, he had great skills, and he had a great heart and great competitiveness. But I don't think anybody could say here, you know, I thought this guy was going to do this. I recruited Calvin Booth. I never thought he'd play in the NBA. I mean, I just never thought he'd be there in the NBA, and he played a bunch of years and made millions of dollars. So I don't think you ever look at a guy and go, here's where he's going to be, because there's just so many factors that can deter that along the way.
States are here Friday and Saturday. What type of benefit does that have for your program?
Other than the kids playing on the court and in the arena, I think it's very important. I think it's important for fans to see our facilities here, the arena. For us, recruiting-wise, not much. We're not allowed to talk to kids. We're not allowed to be down here. We're not allowed to do anything. We have to be more of fans and spectators. I can't get coaches. I can't bring them up to the office. I can't bring any kids around and get all the NCAA rules. So they're off. Everybody's off base for us in terms of the staff. But I think that if the general public coming here, seeing the arena, seeing our campus, staying in town, those are all great things and very, very positive. The players coming here to play in the Jordan Center, I think that's really, really positive. But contact, we haven't done. Can't have any contact with anybody.
What's the recovery timetable for Jeff, and do you think what's his ceiling?
Yeah.
As far as where he can play?
Well, we're in the process of that. That was part of my waking up this morning, because I've got to get Jeff straightened out in the sense that there's some agents that want to talk to him, and those are the things that I'm basketball-wise I'm trying to put together with him and DJ and Drew and the other kids too. We got some agents that all want to represent our kids, and which is all a great thing. It's just structuring that, and there's some guys that I want them to talk to, and there's some guys that I'm not crazy about. So I've got to go through that kind of thing. And I need Jeff, and talking to his folks, and talking to Dr. Sebastianelli and Dr. Ackerman and Saz. We're trying to put a game plan together. But I got to visit with a couple of these guys tomorrow and Friday to kind of see what the landscape is and what they suggest on their end for Jeff. Whether he's got to rehab his shoulder. It's either he rehabs his shoulder and he takes a chance, or we have some surgery and we reduce those chances. But if we have surgery, then there's some things that he might not be involved with in the spring. And we've got to weigh the positives and negatives on how those will affect him and his career. So I'm sort of dancing around with the docs right now and a couple agents to see what they feel is best.
Rewind a little bit and talk about the tournament game. It's been almost a week now. Have you still thought about Fernandez's shot in the last 16 seconds?
Yeah, I've seen it. The tournament game was a good basketball game. Everybody tells me it's fun to watch. I haven't watched it. I haven't gone back and watched the whole thing. I've seen the shot a couple times. I think the only regret I have in the game is that we, I feel not regret for me, but for Jeff. It's his last game. He plays 9 minutes or something, 10 minutes. I think that the thing I think about, Emily, is it's such a fine line between winning and losing. It's such a fine line between winning the first round game, having an opportunity to play the second round game, and to see how that goes. Because I'd watched tape on San Diego State, and I was kind of looking forward to our game plan. We never were able to obviously put it together, but I feel bad for Jeff for not being able to play, and the other guys, to see if, take all your swings, and I think our kids fought, they played hard, they made big plays. But at the end of the day, Jeff wouldn't have been played on the next, 2 days later. But the game was a good game. We were up. He got in foul trouble. We knew we couldn't get in foul trouble. We did, but the kids weathered the storm. And I thought we played well enough to win. I thought we really played well enough. When we couldn't get to the free throw line, that was frustrating for me. We couldn't get the ball around the basket enough to get to the free throw line, because I thought we had to do that as well. And that's just we did. We didn't do a good job. I didn't do a good job getting the ball to the basket and get to